One. Hi everybody, it's time for another roundtable discussion about some interesting information that's come out of the Erie County Legislature. They've passed a bill and we're here to talk about it and how it will affect you as a vapor. Got a bunch of folks here today.
Hi, my name is Greg Minkiewicz. I'm Assistant Manager at Nixteria Retail Location in Tonawanda.
I'm Stacy Hogrecord. I'm the Director of Operations through Nixteria Corporate.
Lee Smith, Human Resources Manager.
I'm Paul Smith, but most of you know me as Rat. I run the corporate laboratory. So they passed a bill through the legislature, unbelievably 9-1 voted against vapors and the vaping industry. And we should probably address what it's really about.
Well, it basically comes down to you're not allowed to vape in public places. That where any person who wants to smoke, you can't smoke, you can't vape. So it's gone through the legislative, now it's on its way to the executive level. It's a bill, it's not a law, it's got to be signed by Mark Poloncarz. It hasn't been signed yet, but it's on its way. It's pretty lengthy. I mean, it's offered on erie.org if you want to read the ins and outs of the actual bill. But it basically it states that you're not allowed to vape. Your rights to vape are withheld in any public place where smoking is prohibited. So we're kind of out there to fight it, and we need your help.
Yeah, there's a couple of parts about this bill that really stand out in my mind. The most important thing is we all made a choice. We all made a choice to give up combustible cigarettes and switch to a safer alternative. What this bill basically says is you're no better than the people that are smoking cigarettes, so get outside with them. I find that disturbing because it sends a negative connotation to people who might be out there thinking, you know, cigarettes are probably not good for me. Well, we all know that they're not good for you, but maybe vaping is a better choice. And if people are being forced outside with the smokers, they're equating us to the smokers. So that's basically the county legislature's way of saying you're no better. Your choice is no better. That's a really negative connotation for them to put on people making a better choice.
And the worst part is, as well, is, you know, they're relating us together and they're saying we're the same entity, but in reality it's two completely different things that you're using.
Yeah.
It's two different applications entirely.
And we brought in some studies, some of the more recent studies that were done appropriately about secondhand vapor and about what is actually in the liquid that is being consumed. And the studies prove conclusively that there is absolutely nothing close to the same type of effect from a combustible tobacco product as from vaping. So they glossed right over that. They really didn't read it. One of the legislators did read it and actually did speak out on our behalf. He was the one legislator that stood up and said, I'm not voting for this because this information that I've been handed to me is basically saying that what the industry's representatives are talking about, and which we had been talking about on a number of occasions, the stuff that we were saying to them was true. And they were going off of faulty information. And the biggest thing for me, one of the funny things in my mind when we were speaking to them was, well, you know, people might think it's smoking. Well, so you're gonna try to legislate against ignorance?
Yep. You can't.
They can't. You can't get ignorance out of the legislature, let alone out of the public.
Right. Right. And the thing is that, you know, we've been down there. I mean, we are big advocates in this, and you know, we've been to the hearings, we've been to the public speaking, we've handed out information, we've knocked on doors, we've tried to talk to these people to give them the information, because it's lack of knowledge, basically. It's what it comes down to. They're voting on something that they don't even know what it is. And it's unbelievable. The last meeting that we went to, the last hearing was on this decision. And we put together a packet for the legislatives and handed it out with the hopes that they would possibly read it and maybe just take in, to consideration that, hey, there's a lot more involved than you don't know. And we handed it out. We tried to get our foot in the door. Unfortunately, we couldn't talk to anybody, but we did give our packets out. And, one of the legislatives, Joseph Larigo, looked at it and said, hey, hold on, this kind of makes sense. I don't want to vote against something that, possibly is a better alternative. There's, reasonable doubt. There's inconclusive studies. Let's, leave it up to the public. Let's leave it up to the business owners to decide whether or not, they want to offer vaping in their facilities or not. And I mean, it was unbelievable. They did take this into consideration. This was last minute that we just put this information together and handed it to him with the hopes that he would pay attention, and he did. And I'm very thankful for him for doing that. He stood up for us. He was the only one that stood up for us. And, it's an unfortunate thing that none of the other legislatives didn't want to do that. They were already, focused on what they wanted. They weren't going to change their minds, and now it's passed, to the executive level, and we have to fight again. And we need you to be a part. We need you to be a presence. Don't think that that one person doesn't matter. You matter. One person could be the yes or no factor. You need to be a part of it. And that's what we're asking.
One of the things we're asking you to do is to write letters. We need to get as much information to the Erie County Executive, Mark Poloncarz, as possible, and we want to help you with this, and we want to offer incentives to get you to write a letter. So anyone that submits a well-written letter to us, either in person at the store, or you can email us at nixteria.com, and we will mail the letter in for you to the executive. And in return, as a thank you, you will get a free 20 ml bottle of juice. So we want to thank you for your participation and your help, and we want to encourage, again, the more voices that can be heard, the more people that can get information out there to tell your own personal story, the better. We even have an example. If you're not good at writing and not sure what to put on the paper, we actually have some examples and some ideas for you that you can take and read over and put your letter together. And again, we will pay the postage and get it in the mail to him. And the deadline for that is between March 15th. We need all letters in hand, and we're trying to mail some every day, so that every single day he gets something in his mail from us talking about vaping and your personal experience and how it's changed your life.
Right.
Yeah, and with that, the information that is involved in the bill and involved in future plans for the government isn't really what's relevant to you. If you're going to write a letter, the one thing they can never change or never take away from you is how vaping has affected you personally. Whether you be the vapor or whether you're a family member, a friend, someone who knows firsthand from the experiences of someone who gave up traditional cigarettes for vaping. That's the stuff that can always be the strongest, is this is how this affected me. Making the decision to vape instead of smoking cigarettes affected me this way. That is strong material that no government official can ever discount.
And also, don't take into account that since it has passed through the legislature, that there's nothing we can do. As a community, the more numbers we have, the more people we have representing this industry, this as a whole, the better chance we stand at fighting for it. Mark Poloncarz has the executive authority to basically say we need to take this down, we need to rewrite it, we need to reword it, and need to be more thorough with what we do. The bill that they currently have thrown on the table, if you read through it, it's kind of, it's loosely thrown together. They got the details in that they needed to get, but at the same time, they're not really jumping through hoops, they're kind of just sliding right under the doormat. They're saying, hey, you know what, let's not worry about doing the proper stuff, we're just going to tie it in with studies we've already done in the past. We need to tell them that that's not right, that's not how we founded what we do and how we do things. And to ban something until it's proven good isn't the way we've ever handled any new products or anything ever coming out in our industry or any industry as a whole.
All right, we take pride in being such advocates in this, and we need your participation. I mean, we're asking you to be a part of the new hearing, the next hearing that's going to happen. Hearing And, you know, you need to be a body there. We need as many people to rally together for this. We need you to, even if you don't want to talk, even if you don't feel that you have the right things to say, just be a part. Be a presence. You know, show them that there are a lot of us out there that care about this, and that, you know, you need to listen. You know, we're not just going to let this slide. We want you to focus on, you know, the positives of this, and to really pay attention to what we have to say. It's important that you do participate, and don't think just because you're 1 out of 100 out of 1,000 that you don't matter. It matters.
Yeah, and I think you hit it right on the head there, where you said we need to talk about the positives, and that kind of ties into what I was saying about writing a letter about how it affects you personally and how positive things have gone for you since switching to vaping. So that if we stay with that theme, I think we have nothing but ground to gain.
Right.
And that can get you another free 20 ml bottle of juice too. So you have the opportunity to get 2 free bottles of juice, 1 for writing a letter and 1 for actually going down to the hearing on March 18th. Just come see one of our employees and they will hand you a coupon for another free bottle of juice.
It's just our way of saying thank you for helping support, you know, what we believe in, what you believe in yourself. You know, again, as Stacy mentioned, you might just be one person just watching this video, maybe thinking I shouldn't go down there, I'm just one person. But there's a lot of people thinking just like you, and if just a handful of you say let's go for it, that's just more numbers that we have representing us and showing them how many lives this really has affected.
And if you're not in the greater Buffalo area, please still send a letter, because another person, another voice is always better for us.
All right, we've had people writing from Canada, writing from Ohio, Pennsylvania. It doesn't matter that you're not in Erie County. It shows that you're affected by this and that it is important to you. So write, send it to us, email it to us, and we'll handle it. It doesn't have to be long, you know, it doesn't have to be drawn out. Simple, short, to the point, this helped me, please don't pass this, you know.
Just know, this is Erie County that we're talking about here. Maybe you're in a different county and you think this isn't affecting me, but all it takes is just 1, 2, 3 counties, just a nice snowball rolling down the hill, nice avalanche is going to form, and before you know it, it's going to be in everyone's hometown, cities, you name it. So it's not just us this is affecting. This is actually something we're trying to take, you know, we're trying to grab the bull by the horns and try to take this head on, rather than let it kind of spiral out of control and it spread all over the place. Let's stop this now and let's encourage them to do the proper testing that we need to be done on our products.
That's the thing, it gets easier each time they revisit this in each locale. Each time it will get easier for them, because they will now know what the objections of people are, what the best procedure is. Maybe, so who knows, maybe 8 counties down the road the language will be decent, but right now the language in Erie County is not very good.
No, we have to show them. We have to show them that the blueprint that they make for what they want to do as far as throwing bills out and stuff that affect vaping, they have to know that they have to do their homework on it, because people like us, we see right from wrong, we know right from wrong, the viewers know right from wrong. And trying to get rid of something without any evidence only because, you know, they have a belief or an opinion, I don't think that at all is right.
And there are counties out there and places that have voiced reason. They've passed bills, but they've let businesses and establishments choose whether they want to allow vaping or not. And that's all we're asking is let individual business owners choose whether they want to allow it or not.
And the common thing is people think that we want to vape in hospitals and restaurants, doctors' offices. We don't. I don't even want to vape in the grocery store. If I'm shopping, I don't want to have to worry about a person next to me throwing a giant cloud of vapor in my face. But the thing is, when business owners choose, you know, what kind of crowd they like to appeal to, if I'm a bar owner, if I own a restaurant, maybe I want to bring vapors in because I know a lot of shops around me don't. But with this kind of bill in effect, I don't have a choice like that. And, you know, businesses that want to take little edges like that to push them ahead in certain areas, they don't have the option anymore. It's basically ruining their version of what a free market is.
It's funny that you said hospitals, because hospitals actually use components that are in our liquids in their air filtration system already, because they're good for you.
Yeah.
Because they help suspend the water molecule in the air to keep moisture in the air, which is better for respiration. So
they've been doing that for years.
They've been doing that for a long time, absolutely. So you're 100% right. Nobody wants to be is, which is entirely separate.
Common courtesy is a completely different topic
Yes.
from what we're dealing with right now.
Right. But we should be able to give that option, and it's being taken away. And that's why you need to step up, protect your rights. You know, we've always, been gung-ho for this. Protect your rights. And you have a voice. You do matter. And that's all we're asking.
And ask yourself this question. If they're going to put you outside with the smokers today, what's next? No vaping?
Is that cancer tomorrow?
I mean, who knows?
Yeah, fight them every step of the way, really, because they're not willing to do the homework to educate themselves on what actually goes on in our industry and what our products are really made of and what they do. Even though I've volunteered myself to them, and I know we all have, they're going to follow a progression, and the progression is not in our favor. So it's best to get involved at every level and try to stop at each step of the way. Hopefully it'll catch on and they'll understand that we're just not kidding here. We're actually very serious about what we do and what products we use.
Especially with this, the one thing they're talking about testing, they're saying that they need to have subjects and they need to have people they can collect data from. I don't know anyone that works at a vapor shop that has been approached about any studies or anything. I mean, we're encompassed by vapor daily, 24/7. Pretty much is our lives because it's our livelihood. It's the way we earn our living. But at the same time, it's something that we're passionate about. If they're trying to run these studies on puff machines, et cetera, why not contact some employees that they know work in the industry that are around this all the time? Because if anyone's going to start showing any side effects that they're claiming are there, they're going to show it first.
Well, the sponsor of the bill that went through the county legislature, I tried to contact him on a number of occasions and say, listen, I run one of the biggest corporate laboratories in the state. I can offer you all kinds of information if you want to know the truth about what's going on and what products we're using and how it's being manufactured and the whole procedure. Never once.
And it's crazy to think we exchanged more words with them at the hearing, which is maybe about 5 or 10 words than we have in the entire time of trying to contact.
Yep.
We
emails, phone calls, face to face, not 1 ounce of consideration. I mean, and that was Peter Savage.
Yeah.
And it's all. Savage.
It's not like we're saying they need to pay attention to us. We're not the only people that have contacted them. We know that.
Oh.
We can say that without going and checking all the references on that. We know that other people are out there because we have people that come in here every day to talk to us. We know other people that work at other shops. We have customers that go around the area. We're not the only ones that think this way, and we definitely know that other people have tried to get in contact with them. Only thing I like to know is have any of them actually been able to reach through to them, because everyone we've talked to, just nothing but voicemails and answering machines.
No, when you heard their reasoning at the hearing behind why they wanted to pass this bill, you just wanted to bite your teeth and cringe a little bit. It was ridiculous, and unfortunately we couldn't stand up and, shout out, you're being ridiculous. But that's what we wanted to do because their findings were so off the wall. And it is unfortunate because they were mindset. They weren't going to be persuaded, no way. And I'm glad we had one person at least, was willing to step up and say, hey, this isn't right. We need to further educate ourselves. We need to run some more studies. We shouldn't be so, quick to throw this into a law. Let's hold off and, reword it and look into it some more. But no.
Yeah, one of my favorite sticking points was in the last meeting when they voted on this. One of the legislators said a couple of things that really stuck in my mind. One, she said, let's err on the side of caution. My answer immediately is, let's do the studies and make sure there aren't any errors. Let's do it right. But unfortunately, that belief is in their mind. And also the same legislator did say, well, we don't, and this is what led up to my favorite quote, we don't know enough about this, so let's err on the side of caution. Oh, okay.
Right.
So we're going to make a law about a thing we don't know about, and don't have information and refuse to consult.
They throw those big words out there, you know, into the media, and people just cling to those big words without reading further into it, and they get scared. And that's their tactics, to scare the public.
Right, or even to ask us about each of those things. And I can cite a reason why each of those words came up in previous studies, because the studies were done inaccurately.
Correct.
So,
but they don't want to do that. They just want to, you know, listen to what I have to say. I'm going to throw the word formaldehyde out there. That's going to be bad. We don't have to listen any further. I just got all the information I need by that one word.
Yeah.
And that's an unfortunate thing. It is. It's awful that they do that. But that's the way they want to run it. And, you know, unfortunately, we need you guys to step up and try to eliminate that and be a part. That's all we can ask. You know, join together. This is an industry where it's going to affect everybody, not just us, not just the company down the street, not just the mom and pop shop in the next town. This industry is everybody is affected by this, and we need to stand together. We cannot be worried about business on business and you're my competition and why should I help you. Forget about that. Forget about that for this cause. We need to be together. We need to join hands and just focus on the positives, work with each other, talk to us. We're willing to help you. Make a phone call. If you have any questions, please call us. We're in this to win. We don't want to fight. We want to fight them. We don't want to fight our competition, but, you know, we want to help.
Yeah, Greg and I spent a rather long day driving down to Albany to talk to the state senate, the state senate, and we went down. And this is right to your point. We went down with shop owners from 2 different stores, who are technically our finger quotes competition. However, we all work together to try to get information into the hands of these state senators to tell them what it really is and what we really do, and the fact that competition, it doesn't matter if the game is closed. If there's no more vaping, there's no more competition. So I'd rather worry about, and what we've gone to with this situation is we've gone to a couple of legislators in Erie County that are really striving for face time about doing their best to protect the children, because you know, no rational person would argue with that.
I believe the children are.
You want to, yeah, that's true. And now I'm going to start singing.
Well, don't move away.
Don't do it, don't do it. Because Greg will get up on the table and he'll start singing.
But go that far, not today.
But no, it's these people want FaceTime so that they can work on their re-election. The bottom line is, it is about the children. We're offering a choice to people that will hopefully make them live a whole lot longer, because they're not smoking analog cigarettes anymore. So they'll spend more of their life with their children. That's more important than equating us to tobacco.
Right. And the thing is that it's funny, well, not really, but it's kinda, that they want to focus on how many students and high school kids are vaping, and they want, you know, it to stop, and they want to prohibit it. Vaping is already prohibited in schools. They are fighting something that should not even be focused on the industry itself, but on the school.
And high school kids should not have our products anywhere. They should be focusing, if they really want to make a difference, focus on the shops that don't follow New York State's law about being over 18 to sell products.
Right.
No, not a single representative, not a single official had ever mentioned anything about the being passed back in 2013. You know, the 1st of January that was passed, and that kind of, you know, set the rule right there. No minors.
Yeah, and it seemed like it was deaf ears when I addressed the legislature, when I said our store has been doing it this way since 2008.
Yep, day one.
So we were 5 years ahead of you as far as doing it properly.
And we also know that there are other shops that were taking the same route as us.
Yeah, it was a moral and ethical thing to do, just like smoking. You know, these are not meant for children. These are not meant for the adolescents. These are an adult product to be. Other companies would follow, you know, the suit and
Well, I would be
abide by the law, but
I'd
that's
be
what they need to
more-
focus on.
I'd be more interested in them being sticklers to the state law.
Right.
You know, if they want to come into any one of our stores and try to buy any products without ID, it isn't going to happen.
Nope.
So I'd rather they spend their time and effort on that if they're worried about the children. Go around and take advantage and stop other places that are less scrupulous on the way they do business, rather than limit a safer product being used by adults, which is really what we're all about. We're about a safer choice for adults, rather than going down to your local store or your reservation and getting yourself a carton of tobacco products.
I'm sorry.
No, go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Yeah, another reason why we urge this as well is, you know, they want to ban it and stuff like that. You know, they're going to go through with it, and we have to be the voice to speak out against it, because it's not the only thing this targets. You know, this is just the first step in a very long list of steps. It's going to come down to the point where, yeah, they're going to tax e-liquid. I mean, it's going to happen. They're going to have a tax on it. But with stuff like this, tying it into saying it is a tobacco product, it only increases the tax that they're allowed to actually put onto products like these. You know,
It's already being done.
your standard $6 bottle could go up to as much as $8, $9, maybe even $10 a bottle, depending on, you know, what they want to go for. You think about years ago before they started raising the price on cigarettes, and you saw them go from anywhere from $3 a pack up to $10 in some areas, even higher in other parts of the country. Because same exact thing with e-liquid. It's going to come right down to it, and as soon as they have a classification saying it's a tobacco product, it only just lets them